In today's episode, I'm going to talk to you about attachment. It's one of the few things that we consider when we look at how we feel about where we are in our life, where we are in our business, and sometimes when we're simply unhappy. You might be surprised to find that you are attached to things that you had no idea you were attached to. So stick around and we're going to dig in. You have come to the place where you can learn to harness the power of intention, to create subconscious beliefs that serve you, and to gain insights that allow you to create a life, personally and professionally, that you desire. This is the place where you leverage your subconscious mind and design your destiny. Join me now, your host, Penny Chason. Hey there, it is Penny here, and I am back. You probably noticed I was on a little bit of a hiatus. We had some encore episodes playing, and that is because, well, I'm not even going to say the word out loud. The gift of 2020 and I spent a little bit of time together. So I'm feeling much better now. I'm excited to be here, and I want to talk to you today about attachment because during my process of healing, I had this, I kind of already knew, but understanding something and knowing something are two completely different things. You can understand what attachment is, and I have this wonderful mentor, Jim Fortin. You'll hear me talk about him from time to time, that I guess it was sometime last year. He made the comment that his mentor told him that he was too attached to even his own life. And he was making a point about that we put attachment on things that don't matter. Our life matters, right? To be here, to show up, to do, to experience, to be with family friends, that matters. And that was the point. Like, you put too much attachment on your own life. So then what about everything else, right? So we attach to things and we don't realize we attach to them. So, what do I mean by that? So take, for example, whether you've set a New Year's resolution or you've set a goal in your business. It doesn't matter. A goal is a goal, right? And whenever we set a goal, we're looking at outcomes. Anytime we decide that we want to do something in life, we have an end result in mind. It doesn't matter what it is. But take, for instance, some people who may have fitness goals or they may have business goals. They have a very specific number or a very specific image in mind. And you have this number, you work backwards from the number, you decide what it is that you need to do, the steps that you need to take each day to meet that goal. And, the time comes, you've reached the date, and maybe you haven't reached that goal. Maybe it's off by a little bit, maybe it's off by a lot. When we are attached to that number, then we could end up feeling sadness. We could be unhappy. We could be angry at ourselves. We could be frustrated. But here's the thing. When you set out to meet that goal, how have you changed from when you set out to meet that goal to the date that you had set for that goal? So if you made zero change, well, then maybe you have a little something to look at here, like what happened that I didn't do anything to attempt to meet my goal. Because if we set a goal, that means something needs to change. We need to do something different. We need to add something or we need to take something away. But something has to change to meet that goal. Because if nothing had to change, we would already be there. So if you come to the date for that goal and zero has changed, there's some reflection that needs to take place to understand why the goal was not met. But if you look back and you reflect and you're like, oh, well, I started showing up in my business this way. I changed this part of my routine. This process has become more refined, and you've done all these things, and maybe you didn't reach your goal, but you have improved your business structure, or you have improved your business processes, or you grew your list, or whatever it is that's specific to you. Then if you're not attached to the outcome and you sit and you look at all of the progress that you have made in your business, then you have a lot of wins to celebrate. And when you're not attached to that outcome and you have all of these wins that you can celebrate, that gives you the momentum and the motivation to keep moving forward. Take, for instance, someone who had a fitness or a weight loss goal. Maybe they didn't make it, but they made a lot of changes in either their diet or their exercise levels. Maybe their blood work improved. Whatever it is they may have done, they have all of these things to celebrate. So I like to think of a goal as something that I'm shooting for. But what's more important is the amount of change I get between here and there. Yes, I want to hit the goal. And you need to have the self-awareness, there's that word again, to not become complacent. You're focused on that goal, you're shooting for that goal, but you're not allowing whether or not you reach that goal define your success or failure. You're letting everything you did in between define the degree to which you have changed. Those are your wins and what keeps you moving forward. It's so often for people to say, one of these days I'm going to get motivated. And when I'm motivated, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. Well, motivation comes from momentum, and momentum comes from already having done something. So you have to take that first uncomfortable step. For some people, they dread it. They may make a million excuses, but you have to make that first change to begin to see those small wins to get the momentum. We also have to have grace with ourselves. By no means are any of us perfect. And who knew I was going to end up, I was really sick in November and out of my business for 3.5 weeks, with 2 of those in 2 weeks in the hospital. Like, some things happen and you can't predict those things. So when we look at our goals, we also have to take into account what happened during this period of time. What caused me to have this lapse in focus, or what caused me to not show up in my business this week or this month, or what caused me to not be able to stick to my fitness plan this week. And when we take that information, we reflect upon it, we can adapt and adjust what it is that we're doing so that if these things come up again, we have a plan. So say someone's into health and fitness and they hate treadmills. They only want to walk or run outside. And you're having this run of severe weather. Well, you don't want to go walk and run outside in the thunder and the rain and the lightning and all of that stuff. I mean, it's common sense, right? So we have to decide, okay, if I can't do plan A, what's plan B? And, it's for many of us, we may think ahead of these things. And for other of us, we may not. Like, I'm fairly young, fairly healthy. When I was not feeling well, I never dreamed I was going to actually end up in the hospital. But it has taught me some things. And when I say that and talk about understanding versus knowing, when I was out of the business those 2 weeks, I had an intense knowing. And that was that my own health, just like for you, your own health, your own well-being is the most important thing. And while in so many areas of my business and in some relationships I've had, I have let go of attachment. I will have a launch and I give my launch my all and I don't attach to the end result. that sets me free to focus on what I need to do, to put my information out there, to put myself out there. With certain relationships, I know the people that I'm dealing with, and to set myself free so that I'm not triggered, I let go of attachment of how I expect them to react. So it gives you a place to be able to observe human behavior and to adapt the way that you deal with people so that you're better able to deal with people. I'm better able to deal with people. We're all better able to deal with people if you let go of attachment of how you expect them to react to you and observe. It sets you free from being triggered. And maybe one of these days I'll do an episode on triggers. That's a whole other ball of wax. But what I found during that time when I was out of the business for a few weeks is I let go of all attachment. I had zero cares. About what other people thought as to whether or not I was showing up on social media. I had zero cares as to what people would think because they weren't getting a regular email. I had zero attachment to what people thought because they were listening to a repeat of an episode on my podcast when it was less than 6 months old, because I had to be healthy. And if I'm not healthy, I'm not here to serve. And my whole purpose is to be here to serve. And while I understood that we should be unattached to those things, because when we attach to what other people think, when we attach to other people's reactions, we are letting the external validate, drive, direct what we want. And for us to be fulfilled and to get the outcomes that we desire, then we need to be living from our own values, from being in alignment with what it is that's important to us. And when we're attached to all of these other things, we're giving away our power. Discover what it feels like to accelerate your success in life. If you are finding yourself exhausted from mindset hacks that fall flat, you might want to consider registering for my Subconscious Breakthrough Power Session. After this 2-hour group subconscious reprogramming workshop, experience a new way of thinking that helps you to attract more of what you want, from clients to cash. This is a group workshop, but you get to specialize it to your needs. You get exactly what you need, want, and desire out of this workshop. And for a limited time, it is only $147. And you get lifetime access to the replay. Spots are limited, so you want to sign up now to secure your place so that you can have your subconscious breakthrough power session and attract into your life exactly what it is that you desire right now. The other thing that Jim mentioned, and it's absolutely true when you really sit and you're honest with yourself, attachment is the source of all unhappiness, because when you become attached, that something has to happen an exact way, and you consider that we truly cannot control anything. I mean, statistics is statistics. The odds are there are a lot of times when people aren't going to react the way we expect them to. The weather's not going to turn out the way we wanted. We're not going to hit the dollar amount we wanted on our launch because we had no idea that this something was going to happen, either, politically or economically or whatever the case may be. Like, we have no idea these things are going to happen, and then they come in and they influence what we're doing, and these external influences may either slow us down or altogether stop us from reaching our goals. And if we're still attached to that goal, no matter what else was going on, then we're probably going to be disappointed. We're going to be unhappy. For some people, that may look like beating yourself up. You should have done something else. You should have done something different, when you just need to take, I say you, it's just a generality, that we need to take a step back and look and say, what was happening and what was going on here that this happened? And how can I prepare for or anticipate or adjust in the future so that that doesn't happen again, or I can minimize the impact in the future. One of the most common places you see that people are taught to anticipate and to look forward is if they do have a fitness goal. And you often hear people talk about, well, if you're going out, you need to have a plan so you can eat healthy. Know before you go what you're going to eat so you make a healthy food choice, so on and so forth. So in business, when we set other goals, we need to look ahead and say, is there anything here I need to anticipate so that I have the greatest chance of reaching my goals? And then you just do your best. And again, your wins are those changes, the evolution, the growth that you experience as you put into place what it is that helps you to reach your goal. So I'm going to run through a list of things that you could be attached to, because you might not even realize you're attached to it. When it comes to going on social media, are you attached to what people think? If you have children, are you attached to the fact that their room has to be cleaned up a certain way? Are you attached to the fact that dinner time has to be at the same time every day? Are you attached to the fact that you expect your partner to call you at a certain time every day to let you know either they left work or they haven't left work? And I'm not talking about common courtesy stuff. I'm talking about hard, fast rigidity. Are you attached to your car? You're out driving, somebody comes close to, easing over in your lane. Is your car part of your identity? I mean, your car can be a part of your identity, but are you attached to it? Are you attached to you always had to make A's? Are you attached to being that A student? Are you attached to the fact that things have to be perfect? Are you attached to your body looking a certain way? We can be attached to a lot of things. There's nothing wrong with wanting any of these things. But when we are attached to them, we expect them to be a certain way. And then when we're not that way, we get angry, we get frustrated, we get sad, we get mad, whatever the case may be. Or we judge ourselves. Well, that's where the other feelings come from, right? When we become attached to how others should behave, or how we should behave, or what we should do, what our goals should look like, we end up judging others and ourselves. We end up measuring ourselves against something that was only created because we placed importance on that outcome. And it's not to mean that we shouldn't place importance on things, but that when we hinge success or failure on that outcome, that's when we get the negative emotions coming in. That's when we bring down our vibration. That's when we get frustrated. That's when we get blinded to all of the positive things that we've actually done, all of the little things that are actually our wins. As I'm recording this, I'm preparing for the new year to sit down. I challenged myself last year, and boy, I'm telling you, it was difficult last year, but I have a feeling that this year it's going to be a lot easier, just for the simple fact that we've all had to adapt and adjust to live with COVID. But I'm going to write a list of 100 wins for the year. No matter how small, I'm going to give myself credit for what I accomplished last year. And if you did not do something like that at the beginning of the year, I encourage you to sit and do that. Write out 100 wins, or at the end of each week, or even each day. Sit down and write your wins for the day or the week, no matter how small. That's where your momentum and your motivation comes from. And it takes the pressure off of the outcome, because you're doing things to move yourself forward, whether it's in your business or in your personal life. And that gives you a sense of accomplishment. It fuels your self-confidence. It fuels your self-esteem. And at the root of everything that we do is our belief in ourselves on a subconscious level, that self-confidence and self-esteem. Everything that we do goes right back to there. I hope you all have a lovely week. I will catch up with you next week. Bye for now. Thanks for tuning in today. I would love it if you would head over to iTunes and leave a positive review about how this episode has helped you to improve your life. When you leave a positive review, it helps us to reach even more people, helping them to change their lives, and that positive energy and vibration of sharing comes back to you as we spread the message of how you can use the power of intention, creating stronger subconscious beliefs in raising our vibration to create the life that we desire, the one that we're here to truly live so that we can fulfill our purpose in life. Once again, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.